Welcome back to the Roundtree Journey. I know it's been a minute, but we back. We appreciate all the love, the comments. There's hope in the comments, and that's really what we started this channel for.
Thank you guys so much for your comments, for subscribing to the channel. Like I've said before in some of our videos, we did not create this channel to become YouTube stars. We mostly created it because when we were on our journey, it was hard for us to find people that looked like us.
Facts.
And also like just finding some encouragement or just
hope.
Yeah, so we want you guys, out of our videos to, be encouraged, keep the faith. You're not alone. You have a village out there praying for you. But yeah, from the title, guys, we're going to be talking about how we found out that we were both carriers of cystic fibrosis.
CF is a hard word to say. We're going to keep saying CF and also the importance of making sure once you're blessed to get through that initial, do we have any embryos, the importance of getting the genetic testing so that when you do your transfer, your chances of success, they go through the roof because you've done the genetic testing.
Yeah, so how we found out, if you're new here, we started our journey 2020, I think it was. 2020
we started trying,
yeah.
And then 2021 is when we realized we had to do IVF.
Yeah. So our first round, we did 2 rounds. One round, we had 4 embryos, and all of them did not come back genetically balanced.
That was a tough phone call, yes.
Yeah. So before we found out that, we had to do genetic testing. And so this is when, you need to be an advocate for yourself, because we didn't know what was going on. We were just like, okay, genetic testing, another process that we have to do.
Another process, another bill. You might think this, but it's so important because you want a healthy baby. Yeah. And that extra step gives you more confidence. And also, we'll probably talk about it because we had that step in our game. We also were able to rely back on the research and when we had that situation with the doctor later on, we can talk about that too.
Yeah, so I just remember, I vaguely remember a lot of things, but I can't remember a lot of things. But I remember this because, Dr. Johnson was like, hey, have you guys talked to the genetic counseling? You guys should set up an appointment. And I'm thinking, why we got to set up an appointment? We ready for the next step. Okay, let's get this done. And so I was telling Marcus, hey, they're telling us that we have to talk to the genetic people. So Marcus, we scheduled an appointment to talk with
a geneticist, and this lady was, you talking about smart, and she broke down these complex topics to layman's terms so that you can understand it. And when we left that consultation, she was like, because you both are carriers for CF, it cancels each other out, and there's a very low probability that you would pass that on to your child. And we both left there knowledgeable and okay, this is one less thing that we have to worry about on our IVF journey.
Yeah, so, and if I can find the phone call, because we did record the phone call, I will place it. I'll go ahead and move to this clip. But if not, I'll try to go back and find the paperwork of what they went over during the call. They basically told you what they tested you for. And then also finding out that we both were carriers of cystic fibrosis. She was saying that it's not generally found in African American. It's a 1%
and have 2.
Yeah, you have 2 carriers that have cystic fibrosis, and for them to be African American. So we want to just put on the next screen of what cystic fibrosis is,
let's
how
educate.
It affects your body.
Hey family, we want to give you just a little bit more information about cystic fibrosis. This is showing you exactly what are the symptoms if someone does have CF. And for us being 2 African Americans, it was really rare for us both to be a carrier for CF. And in fact, every year in the US, 1 in 2,500 babies have CF, but it's even more rare for African Americans. It's 1 in 17,000. So to have 2 parents going through IVF to both be carriers of CF and be African American was extremely rare.
Okay, guys, just to piggyback on what Marcus just stated, we wanted to give you guys additional information on our genetic testing and what the findings were from the test and how important it is to get a genetic test, especially if you're doing IVF. You're spending all of this money during IVF, but we did want to stress the fact of how important this was for us, because if we would have skipped over this portion of the process, we would have never known that we were both carriers of the cystic fibrosis. That we seen after we found out we were pregnant, all of that, everyone, even when I was in the hospital when I had the baby, everybody looked at our sheet and was like, you guys are carriers of cystic fibrosis. Mm-hmm. Like, do you remember, like, when we went to the...
We did, and I want to bring that back up. We had, because with IVF, you have to do more testing. Once you're pregnant, you have to have more ultrasounds than a normal pregnancy. We learned it afterwards. And I remember we had one ultrasound. It was a different doctor than we normally see. When he looked at our paperwork and he saw CF, like, he started going on a tangent. What was CF? And we had already confirmed with our geneticist that we're good. But it caused some undue anxiety. Like, why are we reliving that when our geneticist already told us we're good, all of our doctors, and it was to the point where that doctor literally had to come back and leave us a message. I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent.
Yes, y'all, we had to find... Basically, they were saying, oh, if you're cystic fibrosis, we have to make sure, like, you may want to do another test just to make sure the baby is good. This is when we went to the maternal fetal doctor. He was not a good doctor at all. Would not recommend. 0 out of 0. I don't even know his name. You don't even need to know his name.
We never went back to that doctor. We literally made sure.
Because I don't even know why I mentioned it. Oh my God. Marcus was like, why did you even mention it?
We got in that car where I said, listen here. We got about 12 more weeks. Don't ever say CF again.
This guy was just like, you got to get tested. We got to test the baby. All this. I mean, he even had us sending him things. Once he looked over everything, he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, he apologized. I have the actual portal where he apologized
and
to us.
He left a voicemail.
Yeah, he left a voicemail.
But here's the thing.
Did I keep the voicemail?
Here's the thing, family. Advocate for yourself.
Yes.
Because we could have easily, if we didn't have that information, if we didn't do this step, we would have paid all this more money. Because even though, like, you have insurance, you're still paying these people for a service. We would have went way over here doing this for him to get the same result. Oh, you actually are good. So advocate for yourself. And sometimes, even with CF, like, think about it as a low, medium, and then high. Like, there's different degrees of CF. We can look at the paperwork to confirm it. But we both were very, very low carriers. And so, again, that low and low kind of canceled out. Like, if I was low and she was high, or if we were both high, that's when you would have a different conversation. So, again, it's all about educating yourself. And I know it's hard when you're doing IVF. Like, yo, I got to learn this too. But when you start getting towards the end of the process, that information is critical. So if you're watching this and you're like, no, I don't know if I knew genetic testing, I'll just go ahead and do my transfer. Nah, pump the brakes, do your genetic testing, make sure your baby is going to be healthy, and then it will pay off in the long run when you're holding that baby. Okay, so before we get into the slides, me and Marcus, we were unable to find the actual recording of the genetic counselor. So we're just going to talk through it with you guys. So first off, we had our call about the genetic testing and the resorts that they found. So when we first talked with the genetic counselor, she was amazing. So I don't even remember her name, but shout out to you. So first she went over of everything that they tested us for, y'all. They tested us for everything. I thought a genetic testing was just, making sure that the baby doesn't have like Down syndrome or something of that sort. And so for me, I just, that's what everybody talks about of why you need to go and get the genetic testing or any of that.
But for me, it's like, if I was pregnant with a Down syndrome baby, I mean, I would still want my baby, you know what I mean? But y'all, the genetic testing resorts go really deep in what they actually test for. So basically, our call was to let us know about what we tested for, and to explain, because we did test for carriers for CF. They talked about like the long term causes of that. If we were to get pregnant naturally, how would that look like for our baby if we're both carriers? They talked about so much during this call. We're trying to just recap some highlights of the things that they discussed. So basically, yeah, they pretty much talked all about that, and we'll go into details on a later slide. Okay, what can genetic testing find? So, like I said before, they tested us for everything, y'all. We had a PGT testing when we went the first time for our consultation with our IVF. We had to go through so many tests. And then our final step was to do the genetic testing. Pretty much, they can identify so many things, such as like a person's DNA, chromosomes, the proteins. I mean, y'all, when I tell you this stuff goes really deep, it goes really deep. It just helps for them to identify the genetic changes between you and your partner. It can also help like guide like a medical care decision and may be useful for family planning and career choices. Also, it can help determine if a person has a genetic condition or if they are at risk of developing one in the near future. Y'all, I didn't know what genetic testing is, and I feel like that's where, again, it comes with educating yourself, asking questions, and just being open to receive and listen to what the results are and how you can move forward. Because honestly, y'all, Marcus and I, when we found this information out, we could have easily said, no, we don't want to move forward because we do not want our baby to have cystic fibrosis. And we had to deal with that. That was another hurdle in our process of, oh my God, what if we have a baby and we actually give our baby cystic fibrosis? Like, how would that look like for us? And I'm so glad that we did do this genetic testing. We found the results and we moved forward.
So again, it's all about educating yourself. And I know it's hard when you're doing IVF, like, yo, I got to learn this too. But when you start getting towards the end of the process, that information is critical. So if you're watching this and you're like, no, I don't know if I knew genetic testing, I'll just go ahead and do my transfer. Nah, pump the brakes, do your genetic testing, make sure your baby is going to be healthy, and then it will pay off in the long run when you're holding that baby.
But I don't want any, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a healthy baby, but it's a, just a chance, because everything has a percentage with IVF. There's a percentage for everything. So I don't want you to think like if you do get genetic testing that like something may come down on the lines, like, I don't want to speak that,
But what you're yeah, but what you're saying, the higher probability of a healthy baby, but that specific
yes,
thing that you may uncover in that genetic testing, you'll be more informed. And like for us, knowing that CF was very low, we felt even more confident going forward with our transfer, and our probability of a healthy baby was increased because we had that information, and we didn't have to worry about that.
with IVF, and we get this news right before we had to deal with the embryos and all of that. So it's like so taxing on your mental health, because all you can think about is, here's another issue,
Another test.
another
Test. Another step.
speed bump in the road that we have to get over. And it's just, just during that time, it was just so hard, because it was just like, okay, what is cystic fibrosis, like, and why do we have it? And
and why do we black people, why we got CF? It was
but the lady, the lady that told us our resorts with the genetic counseling, she told us,
Shout
she
out to
said,
her.
you may want to check with your family, because someone in your family has cystic fibrosis. Someone
passed it down to
in
you.
your family has this actual diagnosis,
And they may not even
and so
be aware.
she asked us, she was like, ask your sisters, ask your brothers. But during that time, we didn't really share that we were going through IVF, so we were like, oh my God, like this is kind of scary that like,
And that was
our families could be walking around with this
and not know it. And then to double click on that, that was probably one of the best decisions that we did. We did not share what we were going through. We kept it between us and a handful of close family, friends, spiritual fathers and mothers, because that we knew we were on a journey that we would spend more energy trying to explain what IVF was as we were going through it. So consider that approach. And also in the comments, let us know what else you want to know about our journey. This thing was 3 years long. We have stories, 3.5, 4 years. We have stories upon stories. But in the comments, if you're going through this and like you have questions, we can create a video around that topic. So please use us as a resource, because we literally have years of experience. Even this CF, we haven't talked about this CF experience in 4 years. So
actually, my sister is actually pregnant now, and we actually had a conversation about it, and she wasn't aware, because I honestly, I put it in another part of my brain that I didn't like. It's just not fresh for me, because it happened so long ago. And she was getting her genetic testing, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, when I went through that, we were carriers of cystic fibrosis. And she was like, oh my God, like, and then we started talking about my cousin. She passed away, she had some stomach issues, and we think that, like, y'all, it was just a whole lot. It was just a whole lot.
Yeah, undiagnosed, man.
Deep.
So that sometimes when you think about IVF, again, the cost, another hurdle, just having to, why is it necessary? So if you're on the fence, I hope this video encourages you to go forward with that extra step, get your genetic testing.
Even if your resorts that are not like our resorts, we wanted to share, because like, what's the odds of both of us being carriers of cystic fibrosis? So we wanted to just, bring awareness, that we were able to get through that. Like, we continued on, because a lot of people would just stop the process. They wouldn't want their child to be affected by this. Like, a lot of people would just have given up. And
with the CF, it is a very necessary step in your IVF journey. If you were on the fence and
even if you don't, you don't even have to be going through IVF, like just a regular pregnancy, because you get genetic testing in a regular pregnancy. So it doesn't really necessarily have to relate to IVF, but yes. To make this video to bring awareness of genetic testing and how we were, I don't want to say diagnosed.
We were made aware. We're made aware that we have CF, and just, if you're watching this again, if you're on the fence, should I do this next step? So many steps in IVF.
To make this video to bring awareness of genetic testing and how we were, I don't want to say diagnosed.
We were made aware. We're made aware that we have CF, and just, if you're watching this again, if you're on the fence, should I do this next step? So many steps in IVF or any pregnancy. Yes, genetic testing is necessary. We learned a lot of something we may have never uncovered in our lifetime if we didn't go through the genetic testing.
Yes.
So not only that, we can educate others.
Yes. Hopefully I'm able to find the call, because the lady, y'all, she was
Next
so
level. Horsepower.
Just her breaking down, because it's just like, mentally, it's like this lady is telling us
she broke
like
it down
how
like
genetic works.
how it works, and then also like if the reason why, because we were low, that the probability of us passing it on to our child was very low. But if we were high and she was medium, what the life of that child could be. Like she broke it down to that level where you could like, wow, like would I even want to put someone through that? It was a lot. Hopefully we got it. But listen,
I'll look, and hopefully it's already in this video, so we don't even have to look.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So again, like Marcus said, let us know if you have any questions. Somebody reached out on Instagram, and I appreciate y'all guys for finding me and asking me questions, because I'm not always on Instagram, but when I do see your messages, I do reply back, and then I'll make another video. Like I have some other videos I need to make because a lot of you guys had questions about that. I don't know if I told you, Marcus, but yeah, I had someone contact me on Instagram, so shout out to you. I don't remember your name. I won't say your name because maybe you don't want nobody to know your name.
Also in the description, our email address, our business emails, they're info@theblackhusband.com. You can email us questions, and if there's a topic you want to discuss, I'm gonna say it again. Let us know in the comments, and to keep the faith. It happened for us. It's gonna happen for you. And we hope to see you on the next video. Please subscribe. Pass it to someone that you know is going through this journey. And we'll see you next time. It won't be long before we come back now.
I know, right?
We're going to do better. Guys. We have this. We got, what, 3 or 4 different YouTube channels, but we need to put more energy in this.
Yes, we're going to be uploading videos when we find the time, you know. But I do want to make sure that we are going to get to our labor and delivery. That's probably going to be the next few videos. But yes, guys, stay tuned. Thank you for liking the videos, commenting. That pushes our video out to whoever that needs it. Yeah. So thank you for commenting as well. Again, it pushes our video out. So we'll see you guys on the next video.
Last thing I'm going to say is, go ahead, Marcus. We want to be what we didn't have.
Yes.
This channel gives you a chance to have community. We may never meet in person, but just know those prayers are headed in your way. That energy is going your way. And if we can be a ray of hope, like when you get bad news, you see one of our videos, it gives you hope. Like, that's really what this channel is all about. We want you to have what we didn't have. Someone that looks like you, that went through the journey and was fortunate to be successful, so that you can say, you know what? God did it for them. He can do it for us. Peace. I'm out.